Hello, beautiful souls. How are you doing today? It's day 15. We are literally halfway through this Fire of Grief series. And when I first started this series, honestly, it was just on a sudden whim to do something different. And I thought to myself, what could I do to give back? What could I do to serve? That would also give me an opportunity to be visible. Personal share kind of freaks me out a little bit to share myself in this way. And so I had a little bit of a visibility um, fear, honestly. And most of that was centered not about people seeing me, but about speaking. And though it might not seem that way to you if you've been with me for the last 15 days, I grew up not being able to speak. It was as a child, it was something that children were meant to be seen and not heard. That's how it was in my family. And so, this constant growing up as a child, this constant uh, reaffirming that my voice wasn't needed and that my voice wasn't wanted was something that um, grew deep grooves inside of me. And so there was always this fear of speaking up and sharing my truth or sharing my thoughts, and that I've had to work through my whole entire life. And so doing this series with you, it's also healing for me in so many ways. And I'm so grateful that Spirit had pushed me into doing this, um, because it's benefiting not just me, but I hope it's also benefiting you as well. So thank you so much. Those of you who've been following me up to this day 15, thank you for showing up. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to also heal. And so you see, it's not a one-way street. It's happening in both directions, as healing often does. It often works in both directions. So how are you today? Wherever you are in the world, my beautiful ones, I hope you are well. I know there's a lot going on in our world. There's a lot happening in the larger scale. And and as usual, there's always so much that's going on in our own personal lives. And how do we navigate all of that? Right? How do we make space, make room for all of the unfolding? And sometimes it can be so intense, right? Holding that it's like a heaviness. Sometimes it's too much. And how do we hold all of that? And I could only give you my advice. It's I little by little I decide what's worth holding, what isn't worth holding, and then I have to toss the rest of it away. Particularly if it starts to affect my overall well-being. And the pieces that I toss away are the pieces that I have zero control over. So I can't fret and worry about the things that I have no control over. So those things, they are the first ones to go, honestly. Um, and then the things that I do have some control over, I'll begin tending to those things. So maybe that's helpful to you. Maybe you have your own way. And if you do have your own way, I would love to hear it. Share it with me as well. So let's do our little embodiment exercise before we get started. Today, I want to talk about beauty. Beauty during the grieving process, super important. So let's take a deep breath out, find a comfortable place to sit. Lengthen your spine. Remember, we have that crown on our head and we don't want it to fall off. So lengthen up the spine, relax the shoulders down. Soften the jaw. Bring a softness to the face. Relax through the eyes. Begin to breathe naturally. Just want you to sense the natural breath, what your body is doing. Your palms are face down on your thighs. Elbows are relaxed. And with each in-breath that you take, you're arriving into the present moment. Each out-breath you take, you're allowing yourself to settle in the present moment. So there's this arriving that we're doing, and there's this settling that we're doing. So noticing any sensations in your body, just meeting each and every one of them with a deep sense of sacredness. And notice your thoughts as they come and go, and not picking a thought out, just noticing what the mind is doing in the moment. Let the thoughts pass like clouds. And then notice what you're feeling. What emotions are present right now? And so we're practicing being the observer of all of these things that come and go. We're observing the impermanence of all things within us. And then feel into the goodness of this moment. And let the purity and the goodness and the innocence of this moment surround you. And you can visualize it as a light growing from the center of your heart. And with every in-breath that you take, that light grows bigger and bigger until it surrounds you. Allowing yourself to bathe in this goodness, this innocence of being. Take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. 2 more times like that. Deep breath in. Sigh it out. And 1 more time. That felt really good. I usually do my meditation. So a little bit of background on my morning routine. I typically meditate in the morning, and then right after meditation, I do breath work. These are my daily go-to. And when I don't do it, if for some reason um, my day flips and changes, it's like something is missing. So those are my tools. Those are my go-to tools, my tried and true tools. Those are the tools that helped me significantly during my grieving process. And it's something that I continue to do day after day after day after day. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about beauty. Now, what do I mean by that? Typically, when we talk about beauty, um, we tend to think about, you know, how something looks. Um, but really, uh, what I want to talk about is more the beauty of everything, the beauty of everything, including this experience that we're going through. And how can we find beauty in things that scare us? Beauty in things when all we feel is sadness and grief. And so, what we're being asked to do by bringing our attention towards beauty is to expand, and to stretch. By expand, I mean we're being asked to stretch ourselves, to stretch our limitation, to stretch the limited mind, to stretch the limited heart that we might be occupying in, to stretch it so wide that we make room for something more than sadness and grief, that we make room to observe beauty, goodness, right? All of the things that are still available. And so, what might this look like? I'll give you an example. So, probably about 2 months after my spouse passed away, I would go to a park. There's a park in the town that I lived, and it was right on the lake. And I would always go, even though it was cold, I would always go, put my earbuds in, and I would walk. Sometimes I would sit by the lake. Sometimes I would cry by the lake. Sometimes I would dance. But what was so impressed upon me was just seeing the beauty of the lake, seeing the beauty of hawks flying in the air, ducks swimming in the water, the changing leaves. And I would simply be in awe, awe of the beauty that surrounded me. And being a part of that beauty brought me back to life, reminded me of life. And when we don't engage in activations like that, what ends up happening is that our frequency tends to decrease. And while grief is known energetically as a low frequency because of the heaviness that it carries, it doesn't have to be that way. Yes, we'll have moments where we're deep in it, deep in the sorrow, and we tend to that in the moment. But then there are moments that we recognize I need to be filled up because I'm on empty. So we might go outside and we might sit and admire and be a part of nature, and to remind ourselves that we are nature itself. We tend not to look at ourselves as, oh, there's beauty here. No matter what you look like, but your presence is a miracle. Our presence here on this good earth is a miracle. We forget what it took for each and every one of us to be here. That's a miracle. That's a miraculous act. And there's beauty in that. Right? But again, society has conditioned us that only external things are beautiful. And so this conversation that we're having of how can I immerse myself in beauty? Yes, one way is to be a part of nature, experience the beauty of that. But another activation for us to do is to turn that mirror to ourselves and see the beauty within. See the beauty of this whole experience, this whole journey that we're going through of grief, and what that experience is doing for us, how it's stretching and pulling us apart, right? That's what it feels like. It's like the image that I'm getting is taffy, right? Taffy. And when you can pull the taffy, right, and how it stretches and stretches and stretches. This is what is happening for us in the grieving process. We're being stretched. And as uncomfortable as that stretching is, it's also beautiful, because whether we realize it or not, we are growing, we are expanding, we are evolving. Our hearts are being cracked open so wide that spirit can place its light inside of us and touch the dark spaces that we were too afraid to go into, to touch, to feel. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. Right? And so beauty is so much more. And it's here. It's right here. It's right here. And so beauty can be your pet. It could be your art. It could be admiring a nice piece of art. Whatever it is. What this conversation is really about this morning, or wherever you are, if it's afternoon, it's morning for me, is how can I open my perception, my inner eye gaze, to the totality of what this experience is doing for me? And how can I take the rose-colored glasses off, not to see one way, but to see in a multi-spectrum, right? To see all of the colors of this experience, and to immerse myself in beauty, in the beauty of this journey, the beauty of who I'm becoming, to sit in beauty, in nature, to be reminded that I too am that. And just speaking those words, they land so deliciously in my body. Because we forget. We forget. We forget of all the other things that are here for us. And this is what I want to remind us, is that there's so much more available. And you're not cheating on your grief, by the way, right? I think some people's like, well, I have to be sad all the time to honor my grief. No, you don't. The way you honor your grief is by also living. The way you honor the memory of loved ones is by living fully. It's by choosing choice, right? Making a choice to be so damn bold about living. Yes, I'm going to grieve, I'm going to cry, there's going to be sadness, and I can also partake in all this other stuff. Yes, 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 yes. So we're training ourselves not to be one way, right? We're not one-dimensional beings. We're multi-dimensional beings, and as multi-dimensional beings, we are engaging in multi-dimensional healing. Yeah, that's what we're doing. It's a thing. So that's my message for today, right? So, but let's see what message spirit has for us today. October 15th. Getting ready to go to Boston today. Got a little retreat coming up in tomorrow, actually. Starts tomorrow. A little retreat I'm attending with a bunch of women, priestess, and I'm really looking forward to that. I've been doing this priestess program with 50 other women over the last 4 months, and it's been quite powerful and profound for me in so many ways. Okay, Spirit, what message do you have for us today? I'm using the Sacred Traveler deck today. Spirit, what message do you have for us today? Okay, love this card. So our message today is infinite abundance. Abundance is pouring into your life. There we go. All right, so they're picking apples, harvest season, right? Green trees, the sun is out, everyone is doing their part in the field. And so, again, I love how these messages correlate, the messages of the card correlate with the message of the day that we talked about. And there's beauty here. The women, the men, everyone working together. The fruitfulness, collecting fruit, right? Abundance. And this is what we're really doing when we are choosing to be in a multidimensional way of including this and that. We are choosing to be abundant with life, abundant with life. So I'm wishing you well. Be blessed. Take the rest where you need it. And I'll see you tomorrow. Many blessings.